Everyone, we are on our next part in the one and only Bob. We left off last week with Bob and Ruby examining the gorilla domain, and they found a whole bunch of rubble crash down on top of a gorilla, and they found Ivan's hand peeking out through the rubble, just his hand. That's where we left off. Not moving. I know that hand like the back of my own paw. No! Ruby screams. Uncle Ivan! I check the crowd. No sign of Julia or George. Nothing. No Maya either, or other keepers I recognize. Just a few employees, several rescue workers, and 2 or 3 dazed-looking visitors. Is he alive? A firefighter asks. Hand, whatever it's called, isn't moving, said another. Weaving my way through the tangle of legs, I climb up the rubble pile, sniff a bit, and bark my loudest. Yes, he's alive! Get your rears in gear! Bark. Just like those overachieving rescue dogs in the Man's Best Friend show. I listen for a sound from Ivan, a grunt, a cry for help. Nothing. Still, he smells alive. At least, I think he does, and that's good enough for me. Xena. Another dog races over, a tough-looking German shepherd wearing an impressive glow-in-the-dark vest and some booty things to protect her feet from the rubble, but I hold my ground. This is my friend we're talking about. I lick Ivan's hand. His fingers twitch. Well, that's all it takes to get both of us barking like maniacs. More people gather. I see Maya next to Ruby, which makes me feel better. Name's Xena, says the shepherd. Bob. I nudge Ivan's fingers with my nose. Nothing. And this is Ivan, my best bud. Sorry to hear it, she replies, and I don't like the sound of her voice. With great care, and far too slowly for my taste, rescue workers begin removing chunks of the wreckage and tossing them to one side. Xena and me, we mostly just stay out of the way, but every so often I lick Ivan's hand, just so he knows we've got him covered. I glance over at Maya and Ruby. Maya is wiping tears from her eyes while she strokes Ruby's ears. Ruby is giving Maya a comforting trunk hug. Good old Ruby, wise beyond her years, that gal. I check the crowd again. Still no sign of George or Julia. And that's when a sickening thought hits me like a bite to the belly. What if Ivan isn't the only one under the rubble? Dragon. More police cars and ambulances arrive at the park. A handful of keepers stream in too, looking frantic and confused. The weirdest thing of all? Wandering through all the destruction are random park residents. Animals, birds, reptiles. Residents who most definitely do not belong in Gorilla World. A police officer is chasing an armadillo. A great blue heron watches the mayhem from her position atop a giraffe statue. A wallaby pokes his nose out of a bush, his saucer eyes catching the fire engine lights. Nets! Someone yells. We need more nets! An older gentleman holding a blue umbrella lets out a blood-curdling scream. Dragon! He cries. I swear to you, I just saw a baby dragon! Sir, says a keeper named Malik, no worries. That's actually a Gila monster. His name is Gilligan. A paramedic raises his hand. They have, venom, don't they? They say a healthy adult won't die from it, Malik shrugged. Although they'll be in some serious pain. Wonderful, the paramedic mutters. I glance over my shoulder to see Sarah running toward Maya. I can't hear her words, but I can definitely see the worry in her eyes. Xena's ears tip forward. They're getting the cutters, and the jaws of life. Jaws? I repeat. Don't like the sound of that. Spreads metal. They're probably getting close. Come on, we need to get out of the way. I ain't going anywhere. I hear ya, she says, and I can tell from the weary sound of her voice that she's had this conversation before. But the best thing for Ivan right now is to let the humans do their thing. I think about it, figure she's right. I give his fingers one last lick. They don't move. Nothing. Nada. We pick our way to the bottom of the debris pile. Hang in there, Ivan, I call. We got you, buddy. I know it's crazy, but I listen anyways, hoping for a sign, any sign that he's still with us. Hugging. I run to Kenyani. Don't worry, I tell her. He's gonna make it. I can tell she doesn't believe me. From there, I head over to Maya and Sarah and Ruby. Maya has a radio handset in one hand, and for some reason, a young, squirmy meerkat in the other. Sarah kneels down and hugs me tighter than any sweater she's ever knit. Bob, she cries, what happened to your nose? And look at your paw. Some dogs don't like to be hugged that way. I'm one of them. But Sarah needs to do it, I can tell somehow. So I let her. Isn't so bad, really. Loose. A new police officer joins us. Officer Williams? She nods at Maya. You're with the park, right? Yes, I'm Maya. This, Officer William pauses. We need to get this under control ASAP. Winds are going to pick up, and we haven't even hit the eye. Storm surge could be an issue. This one's moving slow. We've got a skeleton staff here, says Maya as the meerkats attempt to eat her earrings. Early reports say maybe a third of the habitats are damaged or destroyed. She shakes her head. We've got some injuries, some possible fatalities, too. Human? Don't think so. Anything loose that could be a, problem? Maya presses her lips together. Yup. Such as a couple Florida panthers, gray wolves, python maybe, possibly an alligator or two. American alligators, not Chinese. I don't care if they're from Canada. If they eat people, we're in trouble. They don't. Typically. Typically, Officer Williams repeats. Well, that's reassuring. Sarah loosens her grip on me ever so slightly. Maya, she asks, her voice trembling, have you heard anything on the radio from George and Julia? I keep calling, but the cell towers are down. Nothing yet, Maya says, but I'm sure they're fine. Nearest shelter's over at Lincoln Elementary, says Officer Williams. You should check there. Sarah frowns. They were probably right here before the tornado hit. We're searching the park, ma'am, says the officer. We'll find them if they're here. Everybody clear out! A firefighter with a megaphone yells from a spot near Ivan. Could be more danger of more collapse. We're working on this last metal beam. I look to see if Ivan's fingers are moving. Nothing. Hold on, Ivan! I yell. Nothing. Sometimes nothing is the worst sound in the world. Ruby lets out a little elephant cry, and then I realize maybe that's the worst sound in the world. CPR. The wind dies down to a whisper, as if the world is holding its breath along with the rest of us. Do you have any vets standing by? Asks Officer Williams as two more ambulances screech to a halt nearby. Yes, Maya nods. Not sure when they'll get here, though. Officer Williams goes down an ambulance crew. Waves down an ambulance crew member. You ever give CPR to a gorilla? Primate's a primate, I guess, he says, but he doesn't look too sure. What's going on? We're waiting on equipment, but we're stretched pretty thin. Lots of structural damage on the north side of town, says Officer Williams. They're going to get a chain on the last beam, try to pull it free with one of the cars. Somebody under there? Gorilla, we think. Not sure what else. Or who else. I look at all the cement, all the wood and metal. Nobody could survive that. Not even a silverback gorilla with the strength of 8 men. And yet, Ivan's fingers moved. And then they didn't. Several minutes pass. The rain slows a bit, along with the wind. The crowd watches as 3 firefighters attach a long chain to the metal beam next to Ivan, then hook it to a tow bar on the rear of a police car. Back up, folks, calls the megaphone guy. Farther! The chain clanks, the car growls, the wheels squeal. Grinding, groaning, progress, just a bit. The big chunk of metal has definitely moved a whisker or two. More grinding. Wheels dig holes in the ground. Mud flies like thick brown rain. A lurch, a snap, clanks and rambles, and the big beam jerks free. The rescue workers move in, digging with their bare hands. Cement and dust and metal and bits and pieces of gorilla world are everywhere. But where is Ivan? No. No movement, nothing. But after a few more minutes, one thing is clear. A gorilla-shaped mound has appeared, covered by dust and dirt and debris and splattered with rain. It just lies there. I've lost a lot in my life, my whole family. Stella? But Ivan? No, it can't happen. Not Ivan. All right, we'll stop there for today. Come back tomorrow to see if Ivan is okay.